The following program is made possible with the support of
BB&T, best bank in town since 1872. Papa John's Pizza, better ingredients, better pizza. Cookout, hamburgers, hot dogs, and great milkshakes. ESPN 630 AM, Wilmington's all sports station. And Sunny 104.5, Wilmington's best mix while you work.
Hello, this is Dave Spencer. I'm subbing for Marty Fuhrer, and you are here joining us on Sports Roundtable. And to start things off today, we have the honor of having Coach Kevin Motsinger with us. Coach, congratulations on a fantastic season. I know this past Friday wasn't the way you would have liked, but it was an outstanding ball game. More than that, it was just an outstanding season. In summary, what can you tell us about the season? What's going to be the thing that sticks out in your mind for the 2013 season?
Well, the biggest thing going into this year, we lost 43 seniors. And so we knew we were young, and we had some seniors that might as well have been sophomores or juniors because they didn't get to play the last couple of years. We talked before we aired, Rome Murphy last year caught 4 passes and had, I think, 35 yards. This year he caught almost 50 passes and had almost 1,000 yards receiving.
Wow.
So big change. And Parise Williams is another one that last year he caught 2 balls. This year he's caught over 30. And, you know, looking at where we started at Myrtle Beach against Conway and to where we finished is just a compliment to our kids and believing in themselves and just coming to work every day and getting better.
Well, now you mentioned some of those kind of accomplishments with those guys. What do you attribute that to? What are some of the things that led to that type of success?
Well, New Hanover's a different place. I mean, with the tradition and all that stuff, and people get tired of hearing it. But being there, it is different. When you walk into Brogdon Hall and you look up in the rafters, and you know, and you were there, wasn't too many years ago. In Coach Miller's weight room, and just that commitment. And our kids take pride in being a Wildcat. And, you know, we talk about diamonds are made under great pressure. And, you know, just like kids come in the weight room this morning was like, well, who's going to replace this kid? And you can hear the kids talking. And I'm not talking about football players. I'm talking about cheerleaders, some soccer players, and some other students that weren't football players. And they're already talking about who's that next guy. Right. And just, you know, the pride that they have and the work ethic and what we do in the weight room every day, that'd be the biggest reason.
Right. You mentioned the different folks from in the school community coming up and talking to you. What impact can a strong fall season have on the entire school community?
You know, as an administrator, you know, if the football season starts out and you're successful, it just gives you a school pride, and it gets the teachers fired up, it gets the students fired up. I really think that's what hurt us at the beginning of the school year. It was kind of, you know, nothing negative towards the school, but there was just not that enthusiasm that we've had in the past because we started off, you know, we lost to Conway, then we end up turning around losing the first home game to Scotland County, and our folks are like, wait a minute now, you know, we don't lose that much, and so all of a sudden, you know, that kind of mindset. But when you have a successful football season, it just gives an added pride to the whole school, the whole community, and just the kids themselves. Plus, you know, football carries the most population. We ended up, I think, 124 kids in our program this year, and there's not another sport that comes close. You look at basketball; they have 12 to 15 on varsity and 12 to 15 on JV, and it's just the numbers because, you know, and everybody's tied in. Plus, bringing the cheerleaders into the mix, and then you have the band, which is the second largest, in some cases probably larger population, and it just ties the whole school together.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I know you brought some highlights, so let's take a look at just some of those, and then we'll get back to talking more some general terms here. Okay?
Yes, sir.
I'm not sure what your highlights you brought with us here, but
there wasn't a whole lot Friday night. I tell you what, you know, Hogger's got an awesome football team. Coach Braswell every year does a great job, and we talked about it before, but you look at last year going into conference play, you know, only three undefeated teams in the state in 4A was New Bern, Hoggard, and New Hanover. And, you know, New Bern ended up winning out. We finished second. And I think, you know, a lot of folks, and I know Coach Braswell's mentioned on it as well, but since we're kind of down here on an island as far as 4A schools go, we don't get the media that the Raleigh schools and, you know, the Fayetteville schools, but the level of football that's played here in Wilmington, they did a great job, and I felt like our kids, you know, they played hard. At times, I think some of our young kids just couldn't handle that big of a stage, and I think it's also so important to them, and that happens in the playoffs, even at the college and the pro level, that when things don't go well, that's Ron Murphy right there just showing you, and you know, two guys coming up and how strong he's gotten, and but at every level, all of a sudden that realization comes that it's the end. And you know, and I think that hit us Friday night, and so things started to get a little worse. But you know, what a great group of kids. You know, look on this field, and my biggest pride as a coach is when they come in as ninth graders. You know, the lesson we try to teach them is how are you going out. My daddy kind of raised me that way, and what are people going to say about you? And he always taught us you had your name and your word, and people remembered what type of person you were. And you know, to watch this senior class and how they grew from freshman to their senior year, and also how they grew as leaders this year. Because last year, you know, that 43 seniors, you know, this group of seniors, they never said a word. They were outnumbered. And, you know, they watched that from, you know, freshman year, sophomore year, because that group kind of ruled the roost there for 2 years. And so they weren't used to being able to stand up and speak. And, you know, and also the biggest one is, hey, people are watching what I do, you know, and if I'm not busting it in practice, and they're actually watching. And so to watch them grow as leaders and as young men, that was probably as proud of that as anything all year long.
Do you think that carried through Friday night? You know, it would have been mighty easy for you guys to roll over their, you know, their fourth quarter particularly. But I was fortunate enough to be at the game, and I didn't see that a bit. How do you think that played into that?
It's amazing. This is my 8th year at New Hanover, and you know, when I first came to New Hanover, that Hoggard New Hanover was kind of a negative thing. I mean, carried over on the football field. And I think those first 2 years, that was still going on, JV and varsity. And Coach Braswell's done a great job, and I feel like we've done a great job to take that out of the game. Now, the communities and the fans, we can't control them, but with our kids, the thing is, Friday night was a situation that if that would have happened 8 years ago, I mean, it could have got ugly. Some of our kids could have shown their butt, and you know, but Friday night, a couple of our seniors were the main ones over there. He's like, look, just keep your composure. You know, we're going to shake their hands, we're going to go, and we're going to cry. And that's compliment to the kids.
Absolutely, and the coaching staff as well.
Well, I appreciate that.
Well, Coach, once again, congratulations on a fantastic season, and I know you're going to get those guys jumping in the weight room here very quickly, if not this afternoon.
Yes, sir.
And thanks for the work that you do for the school and for the community.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
And again, great season. Look forward to great things in August.
Yes, sir.
Coming up. And don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
It may seem intimidating, but really, it's one of the easiest things you can ever do. I've been practicing.
Good. You're gonna need it.
Help America's youth. Be a friend. Be a mentor. Just be there.
Go to bigbrothersbigsisters.org.
I'm tall enough to reach the monkey bars. I can reach anything on the counter, even things you think I can't. I can understand everything you S-P-E-L. I'm the tallest kid in my class. I'm getting pretty big, but to help me survive a car crash, I still need you to give me a boost.
Until they're 4'9", use a booster seat in the car and don't let them down.
Listen well, all of you.
A wildfire can come from anywhere.
Where?
Even the most unexpected places. But 9 out of 10 are caused by humans and can be prevented. Protect our friends in the forest.
prevent wildfires.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Well, welcome back to Sports Roundtable. I'm Dave Spencer, again filling in for Marty Fuhrer, and with us right now is Coach Scott Braswell. Coach, congratulations on a great season so far.
Thank you, so far.
And that's the
right.
key there,
That's
the
right.
great season so far. The Hoggard Vikings have certainly had an outstanding season again, and hopefully a few more weeks to come.
Hopefully so. Just couldn't be more pleased and happy for the players on the team. Group of guys that set a goal out for themselves last January to regain the conference championship, and as you know, a lot of weight room hours there, a lot of bus rides to passing leagues and things like that. And when they make that type of commitment, you love to see them be rewarded, and they've been rewarded with a very special year. It's a credit to them, their work ethic and how dedicated they've been, and then also just their talent level. They're a talented group of kids, and they've made some plays, and last Friday night was another example of that.
Well, you mentioned conference championship. Can you, with the realignment last year, this year being the first new conference, so to speak, can you? And I'm sure you've already hit this 1,000 times with other folks, but can you share with our audience your thoughts on the new look of the Mid-Eastern Conference?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm getting old for those long bus rides, so that's one thing. I enjoy the geographic proximity of the new conference. As an athletic director, the transportation costs. It's kind of nice to keep that down with shorter bus rides. I think our gate receipts have probably improved because the visiting crowd tends to be a little bit stronger because it's not as long of a drive for them to make. Most years, I think it would be still a very competitive situation on the fields and courts. This year, I think probably the 3A teams were a little down. They're making their way back. We've got 2 brand new coaches, 2 of the 3 schools, and then the 3rd school coach in his 2nd year, and they're still kind of getting their programs built up. I think most years it's going to be competitive on the football field. It might not have been as much as they would have liked, and all of us would have liked this first year, but hopefully it's going to be a good thing for all the sports. I know, some of those teams we play non-conference in the past, and they've been very competitive, beating us in soccer, beating us in wrestling, beating us in softball, and several sports here. So hopefully it'll be a good thing for all the schools involved. I know it's been good for me on a couple levels in terms of shorter bus rides, and hopefully maybe some more gate receipts in there too.
Well, do you think years ago when we were in such a conference that was spread out, but yet we were in that conference for such a long period of time, there was a very strong camaraderie between most all the coaches in the entire conference, as far as the athletic directors as well. Do you think maybe that having folks a little closer together might get us back to that area?
I think so. The previous conference, the athletic directors, sometimes we would just meet via conference call. And now it's just so much more convenient for us to get together and meet. We've probably already met this year 3 times. Last year in the conference, knowing it was the last year, we probably met twice. And my guess is we'll meet another 3 or 4 times as a new conference. It's a lot easier to resolve things. We're all close together. We can quickly meet. I do think we tend to bump into each other more often. It's easier for the visiting AD to go follow his team at that away game. If it's 2.5 hours to Rose, you got to really be determined to get there, or New Bern as well in the old conference. Now it's a lot easier for me to pop over to Topsail or drive over to South Brunswick and follow one of our other sports. And so hopefully that'll create a little more communication and interaction, and it'll be a positive thing. I think this is a conference that's going to be here to stay.
Good.
I think those other schools are going to be growing in enrollment. I wouldn't be surprised if North Brunswick, the next realignment about 3-4 years out, doesn't have an enrollment that would justify bringing them in as an 8th team. And hopefully this will be something that is going to be a 10 to 20 year conference and not just 4 years, and let's realign again. So.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, that's some great conversation there on the conference.
Absolutely.
But I also know that folks are wanting to see some of the highlights from the mighty Vikings.
Yeah, absolutely.
So share with us a little bit as far as what happened this past Friday night, and then also will lead us into this coming game.
Yeah, it's always going to be a great game with New Hanover and Hoggard, and to make it a little more high stakes, to have it in the second round of the playoffs, and a great crowd there, both bleachers completely packed, people lined up around the fences. Just a great atmosphere for high school football. I was so happy for really all the kids involved, especially ours, though, to get to be in that type of game. I actually Pre-game, working out, the offensive lineman just told him, hey, stop for a second. I said, look at these bleachers. You know, they're going to be all filled up. They're pretty filled up right now. They're going to be all filled up here in a little while. So, guys, soak it in and savor it. You deserve this moment. Now go out and have fun. And you know, for us, it was a great night. Things just seemed to click and fall in place. Again, a credit to our players. But it was just a special night, and happy for those guys to go out and execute at such a high level and on such a big stage. So it was a good night for us.
Anything stand out? I mean, I know there were a lot of highlights for you.
The big thing is we made plays, and I think we've kind of gone to the highlights here. Opening kickoff, Julius Reynolds goes down there. We got to get him a new helmet. It keeps popping off. There's Malik. Our D front continues to be just so strong. Malik Moore, Devin Bond, Kyle Delaney, Tyler Beeson, Julius Reynolds at the Mike linebacker has been incredible. Again, big 4th down stop right there, 4th and 2, our guys up front. Here we are. We had a little bit of a snafu formationally. We got out of it. Austin Schoenlever throws a beautiful pass, a little kind of stutter and go, and Harrison Smith's going to take it down. That early success was very important, I think, for our confidence level. We made some big plays offensively early that I thought really set the table for us. Great pressure there. Kyle Delaney on the quarterback. There's Julius Reynolds coming in. I think that might be Sharon Cromartie as well. Defensively, you know, again, New Hanover came out with a good tempo to their offense and was able to drive down the field and score on us. So we ended up kind of turning up the intensity a little bit ourselves. I think that was a corner blitz right there. Here we are in a little kind of power I-type formation, just taking it down for a good 10 yards. This is now Xavier Johnson in at quarterback. We've operated 2 guys there. This is Harrison again on deep post. Beautiful diving catch right there at the goal line. And from there, Keevan Thompson's going to follow it over the right side. Clay David, Gunnar Barr, Luke Ward, the 3 guys there in front of him blocking at the line of scrimmage, creating that surge. Again, good pressure. See Julius on a little Mike A blitz. Comes in and gets a sack there. Very important. New Hanover's quarterback, very talented, so we felt like we had to bring a lot of pressure so that he wouldn't be able to stand back there and do what he does best, which is throw that ball. So great pressure that last play.
As we're looking at these highlights, tell me, think back in the August, the Jamboree.
Yeah.
What's the biggest or few biggest things that you see that you're seeing now that you would thought back in August at the Jamboree, said, wow, is this going to happen?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. You know, we knew going in our defensive line was special. I think we knew going in that we felt like our tailback number 36 was special. The thing that's been neat is number 34 you see right now, Trevor Brown's got an opportunity with Keevan's injury. Trevor Brown's got an opportunity to really step up. We've had a lot of young guys on the back end of our defense just through injuries. Have to be forced into playing time, and they've been incredible the way they've stepped up. Great pass to Randall Emerson there on the highlights, and so it's been a neat thing to see some of these unexpected players, you know, really emerge. And again, it's a credit to all their hard work and dedication. The assistant coaches have done a great job of developing those guys, and so it's been neat to see those guys step up and be a big part of our success. There again, Malik Moore, I believe, coming in and making a tackle there for a loss in the backfield. Again, on all these highlights, you're seeing great defensive pressure from our defensive ends. There's Devin Bond and Kyle Delaney, Tyler Beeson, Malik Moore right there as well, that front 4. So sometimes we don't have to blitz to get pressure, which is good because we can drop back into coverage. Here's Kyle again off the edge, big sack. So time and time again, our defensive ends, really our whole D front creating great pressure there.
Now tell me, when you start in the weight room, and you're going January, February, March, and it's kind of hard to see down in August and September and October. What do you tell your guys, like these guys that are stepping up that in August maybe you weren't quite sure where they would fit? What do you tell your guys in those cold winter months?
You know, the big thing is that I think goal setting is a big part of what we do. Austin Schoenlever there on a little keeper for a good first down. This is opening drive of the second half, which I thought was critical to the ball game to go out and kind of reestablish. Keevan, great to see him back and healthy, but you know, we do a lot with goal setting and really just trying to have the kids kind of set a goal for themselves. And you know, we try and talk about team goals and then individual goals, and I think that's a big part of it. Just that, you know, you're not just going through the motions, because in January that Friday night in November is so far away, and so it's I think important for our guys to kind of try and give them something tangible that they can latch onto. And for our guys, you know, goal setting was a big thing. Newbern had won the conference championship the previous 3 years, and We had lost some in-town games that we hadn't lost in a while, so we were determined to try and get back on top. And so they could taste it, even back in January. You know, we tried to put that in their taste in their mouths, and they really responded well.
Now, I know as coaches, you guys watch film year-round.
Right.
Will your guys next winter or later on in the spring, how much film work are they going to be doing as well?
You know, March 5th, the dead period ends. We really encourage the kids to be involved in other sports. A big interception by Gene Beckwith sets up the touchdown to Trevor Singleton there. But we want our kids to be involved in other sports. I just think they're better off participating in wrestling or basketball or whatever it might be. And so we try and keep them involved with that. But March 15th, the dead period ends. And that's when we start taking the kids out in small groups, just kind of by position. And sometimes, like if it's a rainy day or a really, really cold day and coach doesn't want to go outside, I'll take the linemen inside and we'll watch film just to kind of maybe look at a game film from the previous year and talk about blocking assignments. And that way they can kind of see on film what it is that I'm talking about, standing there in, you know, t-shirt and shorts out in the middle of a grass field with no lines on it, nobody but us there. So it kind of it gives them something they can look at and see. I think it's a great teaching tool as well.
Right. Now, tell us about this upcoming Friday. What are we going to see?
Yeah, I tell you what, Rose High School. I saw them play for about a quarter this year against Laney. I think it was opening night at Laney. It was a Saturday kind of makeup after some rain and lightning had gone through, and you know, a very talented group. They throw the ball around. I think this past week, one of their receivers had 300 yards in receiving yards in one game.
Good gracious.
And so they like to throw it around, kind of spread offense. They've got several players that are pretty dynamic offensively. We feel really good about our defensive front. We're very proud of the fact that our secondary and outside linebackers have come so far during the course of this year. But it's going to be a big challenge for them because Rose's quarterback does a good job of catching it and getting it out right now, and our D front may not get there, our blitzing may not get there. And so those guys are going to have to do some covering back there. I think that one of the great things we could do if offensively we could, you know, run the ball and drive the ball and keep Rose's offense on the sideline and score points ourselves and limit their opportunities, that would probably be the best thing that we could do.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, we're expecting big things, not
Hopefully
only the Hoggard fans, but also the entire Wilmington community.
Well, thank you.
And so we'll be supporting you and get everybody out there on Friday night after a big belly full of Thanksgiving dinner, and we'll see you Friday.
Sounds great.
So again, congratulations on a great season so far, and like I said, we're going to keep things going here.
That sounds great. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Please don't go anywhere with us. We'll be right back, and after these words.
Definitely have to have nerves of steel.
I would not trade this for anything.
You wake up and you don't want to do it, but once you're into it, it's hard to stop.
Did you know that hundreds of youth in the Cape Fear area are serving our community and learning about the justice system at the same time? They are doing so through an exciting program called Teen Court. Teen Court is a program where youth sentence their peers for minor delinquent acts and problem behaviors such as larceny and assault. Crime affects us all, and Cape Fear Teen Court is actively involved in helping our community solve this problem. To find out more, call the Community Mediation Center at 362-8000 or visit us on the web.
When some people struggle with their mortgage payments, they become frozen, petrified. Not knowing what to do, they do nothing. But the people who take action are far more likely to get the most positive outcome. Making Home Affordable is a free government program. Call now to talk one-on-one with a housing expert about the options that are right for you. Real help, real answers, right now.
Well, welcome back. This holiday season, when you're spending time with your friends and your family, but at the same time you're looking for something to do outside of the house, well, look no further than the Leon Brogdon Holiday Basketball Tournament. This year will feature both the men's and the women's basketball teams and a whopping 24 total games. This annual tournament, now in its 20th year, will run Thursday, December 26th through Saturday, December 28th, and it will be held in Trask Coliseum and Hanover Hall on the campus of UNCW. This year, competing with the county high schools, which are Ashley, Hoggard, Laney, and New Hanover, will be teams from out of town and out of state as well. Each day of the tournament will feature 8 games packed with exciting basketball action. You can buy your tickets in advance at any of the 4 high schools. That's all for this edition of Sports Roundtable. We wish Hoggard the very best next week as they continue to advance in the state playoffs. And on behalf of Marty Fuhrer, the real host for this show, I'm Dave Spencer. Thanks for tuning in.